who would ever want to leave the pew? Like, why would you do it? Right? You're making God happy, dude. Like, why are you going to leave the pew? Is there something wrong with you? Like, seriously, like, there must be something wrong with you. From an early age, the pew had this, like, gravitational force that seemed to keep us all in orbit, right? Everything revolved around the pew. When we went on vacation, everything revolved around the pew. When I visited my grandparents, everything revolved around the pew. And it's funny because it really is only that 1 hour a week, but everything, like, it was just drop everything you're doing no matter where you, and I saw that. I was like, wow. Like, I just sat through a whole Spanish mass. This thing has some power, right? Not in a bad way, but you can just see it, right? And so it's like, I'm sitting in church, I'm getting older, and it's like Isaac Newton dropped the apple. Sir Isaac, man, he's up there, he just took a slingshot, shot that apple, hit me right in the head, right? And Isaac Newton's pretty simple. Like, a force has an opposing force, right? That's just the way it works, right? Every force has an opposing force. If I got that wrong, I apologize, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about. So the pew had this force to pull people in, but I was on the other side of that spectrum. I felt that force, and I was one of the ones that was starting to push away, because for every force, there's an opposing force. And the more I started to kind of like study on my own, and the more I started to kind of learn on my own, and the older I got, the more I started to get pushed away, right? And it was interesting because the longer that I sat in the pew and the older I got and the more I felt that force, the pew actually was starting to teach me the life that I didn't want, right? And it's kind of weird when I say that. So like the pew was showing me, making me feel the life that I didn't want. What do I mean by this? Right? So when I said I made this channel about faith. And faith is the one thing I love exploring. Right? That's what I'm passionate about. There's no right or wrong answers. And it was like I was coming up being, I don't want to say being groomed. That's the wrong word, but it was like I could see the path I was going. Right? I was going to marry a Catholic girl. I was going to have Catholic kids. I'd be sitting in the pew. I'd be sending them to Catholic school. I'd probably have a good job, be working my way up as like, a director, vice president or something like that. I'd be going to church every Sunday and I'd be thanking God for everything that he gave me. But I'd also be wondering what it would be like to not be there. Make sense? So I was like, man, this isn't a bad life. It's a good life, but it would always make me wonder, like, what is over there? What lies just on the other side of that mountain? What's around that river, right? And the reason that it showed me what I didn't want, and I kind of moved away from it because there was no mystery anymore, right? It's like, here's the known, and over here is the unknown. And I mentioned this in a couple of my other videos, right? What would require me to have more faith, right? To kind of break free and go out for a little bit on my own and discover some things for myself, or to just stay here. For me, it was about escaping. Like, I wanted to give myself a break. I wanted to give myself some time to just wake up in the world and be me. Excuse me, there's something in my throat. Right? Just be me. And it seems weird because all this time I'd be waking up, back home or whatever, I would always try to be me, but I never could. Right? So when I walked into church on Sundays, it was like I had to check the real me at the door and just be this church me that was in there. And it never really, it was just weird, Because I never felt like I could be the real me, because I always had to be this expected version of me, this church version of me. And when I traveled, I literally didn't have any plans, right? Didn't have any plans. I was just like, you know what? Screw this. I want to see what happens. I want to see how my life becomes different. I know if I can just get on a plane and go where I need to go and just get off, my life will never be the same. I just know doors will open. Everything's just going to take me somewhere, right? And I just had that feeling, like that faith that it would probably take a long time, but something would come out of it, right? And that's what I did. I traveled. It's like I almost traveled to discover my own religion and my own faith in my own way, right? Because I just don't want to take somebody's word for it. I actually wanted to put the bag on, bring the book, read the book, and figure it out. You know, and it was so weird, right? You know, like I remember I was so excited to leave. Like, man, like the adrenaline. I don't know if any of you guys have ever like backpacked or you know, I'm not talking like travel agent travel. I'm talking like book a one-way ticket. You don't really know where you're staying. You're going to land and you're going to figure it out. Sort of backpacking, right? And like the adrenaline behind that, like when you step off a plane in a foreign country, you're just like, whoa, dude, where do I go? What do I do? And all of a sudden you have to start relying on yourself in these new ways, these ways that you've never been taught because it's always been so easy for you, right? Yeah, you go to college, you get a job, then you work your way up. That's just what you do, right? But if you start your own business, holy crap, you're thrown into a whole different pool of learning that now you have to start figuring it out, right? And I wanted to be in that pool when it came to faith and religion, what I believed, right? Leaving the pew was a trade-off because now I don't have that safety net anymore. Now I'm on my own. And when you think about heaven and hell, those are real kind of scary places. I mean, heaven's not scary, but hell's kind of scary. So it's like, oh my gosh, like I'm committing mortal sins. Like I'm not going to be going to church for like a year. Like, am I going to hell? Do I need to go to confession? Like, how do I deal with this? You know, but it's the trade-off, you know, and I think that's where our faith comes in, is on those trade-offs. What are you willing to give up in order to get something else? And no matter what, they both seem weird, but it's your faith that helps guide you through that. And the spiritual trade-offs are tough because I think they tend to trap us a little bit, you know? It's like, man, like I can't explain to you guys what it was like telling people that I was going to go like travel to Ecuador and then who knows where after. And it was like the only thing that they told me was like, oh, that's awesome, but you know, just don't forget to go to church on Sunday. I'm like, what? Like, do you guys just hear what I said? Like, I'm going to go like explore. I'm going to go, I'm like, I'm doing some cool shit here. No, yeah, I know, but just don't forget to go to church on Sunday. And like like listening to that and going, oh, and that really started to make me question what it's really about. The good and the bad. You know? And like I told you, when I decided to do this channel and talk about these experiences I had, I did it on the premise that maybe somebody else has thought like this, right? And, you know, I told God, literally, like I said, listen, dude, maybe not like that, but I was like, you know what? I feel this like need to share this stuff, and I know it's probably not going to sit well with a lot of people, but I see two things. I'm going to make it fun because nobody makes this stuff fun. Nobody. It's like, you know what? I don't want to be stuffy, right? Nobody makes this fun. I don't want to be afraid to say what I felt at the times or what I thought, you know, and I think that's how it works, and that's how we all grow. So anyway, leaving the pew. There it is. Leaving the pew changed my life. Good or bad, I don't know. I won't know till I die. But let's see. Met my wife, who I love, from Cambodia. Wow, interesting. A woman that I felt God put into my life. Seen a lot of things, learned a lot of things. Right? The good, the bad, the ugly. Sitting here now, talking to you guys about it. I never would be sitting here unless I did it. And I look back and I go, man, what would that guy be like if I never took the chance to leave? And I don't know. It's just so weird. But anyway, leaving the pew. I hope you guys like those stories. Hope you can relate a little bit. You know, you guys probably have your own stories of your dad. You know, now that I'm a dad, it's like so weird because it's like, am I going to be like my dad? Am I really going to throw my kid in the car and lock him? I can't do that. I mean, I'd love to. Yeah, you're acting up, dude. Let's go. Just joke. It's a joke. Take it easy. But you know what I mean? But anyway, I like you guys. You know what? Like because you like, subscribe because you want to, because you know what really doesn't bother me, because I'm just going to keep making these videos because I don't know, it's kind of fun talking about this stuff. It's weird. Definitely makes me a weird guy of all the things I could talk about. This is the stuff I enjoy talking about, but I do. I like to share it. So anyway, catch you guys next time. Have a good one. Remember, keep the faith. You got it.